All right, everyone, time may have passed, but Joe Biden still has a Tara Reade problem. The main problem for him being that people are still talking about Tara Reade. Uh, Mainly a problem just for the optics of it as far as some of his allies go. And Dianne Feinstein has joined that club now. Dianne Feinstein come out and say, no, I don't believe Tara Reade, I believe Joe Biden. Very, very funny because years ago you were one of the foremost hashtag MeToo believe all women figures because you're this long-term Democrat liberal politician and you happen to be female. From California, no less. It's funny because occasionally Feinstein takes up lines that are more on the right, and she pisses off many of her own Californian fans when she does this. It's a reason that she had trouble putting it away against a uniquely unqualified, massive far leftist in the last midterms. Anyway, it's really funny because I'm thinking this is one of the people who, I mean, even for like an Al Franken, and this is partially in defense of some Democrats, for Franken and some of the other left-wing figures, you got to realize Epstein was mainly a liberal figure. Weinstein was a leftist, a Clinton donor and fan. They threw him under the bus. Not improperly so, I would say. That's true. And when it comes to Trump, of course, if somebody says, oh yeah, 50 years ago Trump, touched my naughty bits or something, they will immediately believe it. And they'll say, believe all women. Obviously, he's shown a pattern of behavior that proves that this is real. In reality, it's probably not. And in reality, you've got to understand something. I'll come out right now and say it. Tara Reade could be lying. It could be that she just felt uncomfortable. The pattern of behavior that we can observe with Biden is him making people uncomfortable with his old man 70s style schmoozing. That's different from finger banging someone against a wall. Now, the Me Too'ers originally wouldn't think there was a difference. They said, well, if you dog whistle to a woman or cat call a woman, it's the same as if you raped her repeatedly. No, that's not actually true. But that's the standard that they've had. The problem that I have with the story is the Democrats' response, the hypocrisy. I do not have a problem with Joe Biden having an allegation against him, because this seems to be at this point so common, so culturally common with regards to male politicians, that it would be surprising if he didn't. In all honesty, it surprises me when there's a male politician who doesn't have some staffer trying to get a settlement at this point. Because there's the blurred line between real claims and believing people who are legitimate victims and simply going off on a frenetic witch hunt against somebody because there's an allegation with no evidence. The lines have been blurred massively by people largely on the left. The problem is this. The left suddenly conveniently forgets its own witch hunt hypocrisy the second that it's Joe Biden. Because orange man bad. So you see people on the left, well, far left, saying, well, I'd vote for Biden even if he raped me because orange man bad. In the most literal sense, there are people making tweets like that. And these aren't troll accounts. These aren't bots. These are real people with left-wing views. These are Bernie bros and Biden babies and people like that. And they are literally straight up telling people that they're hypocrites. Oh yeah, but I would vote for Joe Biden even if this were true. If he sexually assaulted Tara Reade, that's still better than the alternative of Trump. There's got to be something wrong with you at that point. At the very least, you're a vapid hypocrite, if not outright goddamn raving lunatic at that point. The political partisanship there is sheer, and it's that hypocrisy that I've focused on. Tara Reade case could be true or it could be not true. Of course, what Tara Reade is alleging is different from the things that we know Joe Biden does. And Joe Biden self-admitting to it, by the way, last year. Yeah, by the way, I can get really tactile, touchy-feely, and I'm sorry, it makes people feel uncomfortable. I'll try to do better. We've got hundreds of pictures of him doing this with people from ages 8 to 80. It doesn't seem to matter. Touching people, getting up close, whispering in their ear and touching their hair and stuff like that, which is improper. You're not supposed to be doing that to people around you. Some random person, some senator's daughter or something that you just barely met, you don't need to be schmoozing with her. It looks, at the very least, it looks creepy. He shouldn't be doing that. But it's not the same as what Tara Reade is alleging. So it's really not evidence of Tara Reade's allegations at all. Now, we do have corroboration in the form of the fact that we have multiple people who are saying, yes, at the time she told me that this happened. That's important. That is at least circumstantially evidence. But it's not enough to go on. The problem that I have is that these same people who recognize that are doing so only for political reasons, and they wouldn't recognize that as a legitimate thing to say if it were a Republican politician, if it were Trump, if it were Jeff Sessions. if it were Attorney General Barr, if it was Kavanaugh. These people crucified Kavanaugh over less. There was less evidence of any kind from Christine Blasey Ford's case against Brett Kavanaugh. There was less evidence by far less corroboration of the claim, especially from at the time contemporary to when the claim initially would have been made, the events allegedly happened. Far less evidence for that than what you have for Tara Reade's claim. Tara Reade's claim, she has people at the time who recall being told about it. She has people who can corroborate the story, at least in that roundabout way. Ford didn't. But because of Christine Blasey Ford's complaint, Feinstein, among them, by the way, hypocrite that she is, crucified Brett Kavanaugh, insinuated he was a drunken sexual assaulter, a total violent pervert that was uniquely unqualified to hold a SCOTUS position. They did this just for political reasons. At the same time, they were trying to cover for Al Franken, around the same period of time. By the way, again, Kirsten Gillibrand, one of the few people who did, and it would be so great if Joe Biden chose her as VP, because then she'd be exposed as a hypocrite too, because she crucified Al Franken, was willing to throw him under the bus to advance her presidential would-be ambitions. Didn't quite work out. Still say she's better than all the others. He'd be wise to choose her as a running mate, but we all know that's unlikely. He's probably going to go for Kamala Harris or Amy Klobuchar. Now, Dianne Feinstein's a goddamn hypocrite. Again, she was one of the people most actively criticizing Brett Kavanaugh based on less evidence than you currently have for Biden, and that's just because she knows this. She's a DNC liberal. She's not like far left in the general sense. She's not a burnout or anything like that. She knows if Joe Biden gets fucked, if he has to drop out, or if the allegation keeps lingering, he loses. She doesn't want to be part of the out party. She wants to be part of the in party because it means more money and more power for her. It means an appointment to some special position. That's what Feinstein wants. That's about all. Peace out.